Okay, I'll make a start. If we're all good to go. Yes. So this is our first week on new project. So the project I picked this week is, well, this month is night scenes. So this was one that's kind of my idea, because I rather like painting night scenes. So I've got quite a few that you've chosen, but chosen this one. As I say, last week, just asking if you've got any ideas for projects for the next coming year. So let's say 2024. I'm starting to collect ideas. So some of you gave me some ideas last week, but if you've got any more ideas, please let me know. Then sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll just do a poll and see what people prefer to do. Okay. So I've started this demo, and I'll just carry this on a little bit in a minute, but I just wanted to make it more of a general introduction, really. Night scenes are a theme that I quite like. So I brought these two in. So these two are paintings I've done very quickly, actually. They're not really finished, but these I did as demonstrations for art clubs. This one was acrylics, and it's pretty much, worked it from one photo, which was that photo. As I say, there is more to do to it, but it's based on that one. This other one, I worked from a couple of photos. So this was a picture of the Curzal. This one's oils, and I quite often use a couple of different references when I'm painting. And with this one, I always think of this being lit up at night. So I had a photo of it lit up, so I used that one for that part of it. And then for the car, I thought, well, this one, it just seems a little bit too cluttered. There was a little bit too many lights. It's a bit confusing what was what. So I used that photograph, I think, for this section. So it's a little bit of a combination of a few different images. And that's often how I work. I may even do a little bit that way. Quite often I find that I don't always get it in just one photo, what I want to do. So that's quite a nice way to work it. So the idea of doing a charcoal drawing first is really a compositional drawing. It doesn't have to be particularly well finished, but it's just to get an idea of what I would want in the image. So I started with this image, and I've also got another photo somewhere which I couldn't seem to put my hands on this morning, with figures in the fountains themselves, sort of running through. And I quite like the combination of that with these ones in the foreground. So, for instance, here I'll just make it up, but there's going to be a figure sort of running through. And she was quite a bit lighter in tone. So with charcoal, what I find is it's a little bit of an all or nothing medium. I find I have to put quite a lot of dark tone down here, which tone down like I've done here, and then just work that in a little bit, sort of smooth that in. And then I can then either lighten it or darken it further. So this figure would be about here, and I probably wouldn't have pop them in, but just lighten them up a little bit. And you can either do that with a rubber, or if I want to lift some of the charcoal out, sometimes I just start with a bit of tissue or rag. You can use an ordinary rubber or putty rubber. So this area here, perhaps I want to lighten that a little bit and just get a nice soft feel to that. And then if I want to get a very fine line, I quite often use these mechanical rubbers. They're like a little motor in there, and it spins the rubber around. And that way, hopefully, I can get that. I can get some nice fine details, sort of lines, and also little dots and little lights in the background. So they're quite good for that. And if all that failed, I would need to either get paint or a bit of white pastel chalk on that to get the lights up. That's a way of one way of just getting some, almost like sort of drawing the lights into the charcoal itself. So if anybody wants to have a go at that, that's there. And the other thing I thought I'd mention is, here we go. Yeah, I was trying to find my book earlier. So I always liked Edward Hopper's work, and I thought he'd be quite a good person to look at, because he did some quite iconic night scenes. I don't know if you're familiar with that image, which is called the Nighthawks. Have you seen that one before? Yeah, so it's pretty famous kind of 20th century painting. And Edward Hopper did a lot of paintings, some at night, some in the daytime, but a lot of city scenes, urban scenes, and the sort of things that appeal to me. And it just reminded me, seeing this again, that he actually worked in this sort of way. He'd do a charcoal drawing, so that's probably one of the charcoal drawings there, just to get a bit of get his compositional ideas together. Quite often he'd just pick different buildings, so it might not be a particular street. He might have taken this building from one place, this one from another. In fact, that one looks very like that building on the front cover. So he could have used the same sort of building as a reference, perhaps in a couple of places. And then he would perhaps get his wife to pose, and maybe he'd pose for the different figures, and get the different elements together. And you can see in some of these, there are one or two sketches in this book, if you want to have a look at this. And it's quite nice to see how the idea developed. So you might start with a very quick, scribbly, compositional drawing, then something a little bit more defined, where you've got definite areas of dark, definite areas of light, trying out where the figures go, maybe changing some of the furniture around. But they're really kind of like reimagined scenes, perhaps from glimpses of places he's seen on his travels around the city. So he's an artist I've always found quite inspiring. There's a few, if you want, in there, if you fancy having a look at that. And yeah, just interesting lighting. That's one of the things about night scenes, is the light source is quite often within the painting or within the image itself, which I think makes it quite interesting and atmospheric. So unusual bits of buildings get lit up and things like that. So that's, for me, why I find it quite an exciting subject. I've got a few other paintings I can bring in over the weeks. I got really interested in painting at night, probably when I was a student actually. I used to do some out of windows, looking out of windows at night, and I paint at night, or in the late evening. But also painting in Norfolk and Norwich, painting competitions about 6 or 7 years ago. There was a section where we go out and paint in the evenings. That was always quite exciting, really, sort of painting in the city at night. It's got a very different atmosphere. So yeah, so I hope find that interesting. Yeah, I've got some images here, and also I was thinking like sunsets are also, they're almost night. So if you wanted something slightly simpler, well, I should have a folder somewhere. Unless somebody's got it, perhaps not exactly. So there's a few images there if you wanted to use those.
Those other paintings, your acrylics and oils, did you paint them all first? Make it dark?
Yeah, I painted it, well, I don't think you see, it's basically a grey, usually painted on a dark grey, or greyish tone, yeah. So it's, I don't think you can quite tell who's painted over, but they were slightly grey, yeah. But these were, they're quick kind of, they were done in under 2 hours each, because they're for art clubs, so you just go in, do a demo for maybe an hour and 40 minutes. Sort of thing. Well, the thing is, it's very quick drawing. I mean, quite a lot of the drawing I do. This one, I can't remember if I did a bit more to this one. I might have worked this one up a little bit more. I can't remember. But yeah, it's just sort of a quick impressionistic one. But other ones, but to be honest, sometimes you don't need that one bit. Okay. I did do a little painting of this sort of scene when I was there actually as well. So if I can find that one, I'll bring that in. But it's only a little tiny one that I did from live. But so quite often working on from live, you've got all the colours and tones. I mean, it's great having a photo because it arrests the motion. It's hard to get the figures looking quite right just from live. But the colours are much easier, from live. It's always hard, I find, from photos because it distorts colours and tones and things like that.
Okay.
Right, good. Right, we'll get back.